Oh, hi there. This is Mike with Zero Obstacles Cosplay, and today we're going to be building a World of Warcraft steel forged axe. Rawr. Print the pattern up. You can scale it up or down if you like. When cutting out your pattern, be sure to cut on the outside of the black lines. You'll also notice that my pattern is slightly different than the one you've downloaded. Since shooting this, I've made some corrections and improvements to the original pattern. Once you've got your pattern cut out, use some sewing pins to hold the pattern to the foam and begin tracing your lines. Go ahead and cut out the inside of the blade pattern. That's going to be where you're going to bevel later on. Be sure to flip it and do this for both sides. Now go ahead and sharpen your knives and cut out your patterns. Remember, you're going to need to save 4 of those little holes that we cut out. Those are going to be the pins later on that we attach on the side of the axe, so save those. And be sure to sharpen your knife often. You need very straight and clean cuts here. The cleaner your cuts, the less you'll have to sand. So I recommend buying a sharpener and keeping that blade as sharp as possible. I use a belt sander to sound the texture off of my puzzle mat foam. Also, you want to sand up your pipe. Once that's done, heat seal everything that you just sanded to better have the glue apply. The contact cement will work better if it's on a smooth surface. Go ahead and start contact cementing all the edges and pieces that need to get glued together. You can use 2 coats if you need to. I only used 1 and it seemed to work fine. Be sure to let the contact cement dry fully before trying to stick them together. I used a piece of pipe to align my pieces when I glued them. I used my belt sander and a Dremel tool to sand all the bevels and edges on the blade that I was going to need for this build. It helps to have multiple grits of sandpaper so you can get a rough one and get the initial sanding done, and then as you get further in, use a finer grit. Also, when I was completed with this, I used a 180 and a 220 sandpaper to really smooth it out. We're going to heat seal everything we sanded. And now we're going to glue all the pieces together. We're also going to cut small lines into the blade and use a heat gun to open them up for the small details. For this part of the build, you'll need to use one of the sheets of craft foam that you have. You're going to measure your own. It's not part of the pattern because yours might be a little bit different than mine, but go ahead and measure that and cut out the detail parts and then glue them on. Alright, the part I hate now is you're going to trace this and you're going to cut out the holes where the blade and the pin are going to go for the back. Just be very careful when you do this. You don't want to destroy all the work you've done, but you are going to have to cut this down so the blade goes all the way to the pipe. Now that we've got all of our pieces taken care of here, we're going to add some detail to the blade. We're going to do some weathering, basically cut out some nick marks, and we're going to start putting the whole thing together. I used a hot glue gun for this just to make it easier. Contact cement will work, but hot glue gun will be fine. It also fills up all the spaces that contact cement won't get into. You can use either or, personal preference, up to you. For the handle strap, I used 4 strips 18 inches long of 2mm craft foam. I used 2 smaller strips around the top and the base of the handle to give it more of a concave shape when I wrapped it with the rest of the strip. Contact cement all 4 of your strips together to make one strip. Use a hot glue gun and start wrapping them all the way around the handle. Make sure to overlap it by about 50%. Or you're going to have gaps. Now that we're fully assembled, we're going to use a hot knife and add some more detail marks, and then we're going to use quick seal to get all the edges and gaps sealed up. You want to apply the quick seal around where every piece will meet to give it a bevel, and fill in all of your seams that you didn't get quite perfectly to make them smooth. Now that our quick seal is dried and you've had the chance to go over it a couple times, we're going to apply Mod Podge to the entire thing to seal it, further seal the foam. I used about 3 or 4 coats to do this. This will give you a much smoother paint when you get to it. Put your Plasti Dip in the bucket of hot water. You want to let this sit for about 10 minutes to get that Plasti Dip as hot as you can get it. Find yourself a well-ventilated area and get ready to plasti dip. You're going to want to shake this can for like 5 minutes. I mean, as much as you can. I know you're not going to shake it for a full 5, but do your best. Remember to let the plasti dip dry well between coats. You want to get all 4 coats on. Now that it's dry, you're ready to prime and paint. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave me a comment down below. This has been Zero Obstacles, Steel Forged Axe.